And welcome back, gamers, friends of gamers, and everybody else who's just checking it out. I'm Titania again, and here with my buddy Dragonite, we are casting round 4 of today's Psycho Turtle Challenge. We have a great match for you right now. It's going to be Oscar versus Angel, and it's a really interesting match. Right now we've got on Oscar's side, you'll see on the top, it's going to be Hisuian Arcanine, Ogerpon Wellspring, Fluttermane, Raging Bolt, Urshifu Single Strike, that's the Dark type Urshifu, and the Landorus. While on Angel's side, we've got the Farigiraf, Ogerpon Hearthflame, Torkoal, Raging Bolt, Landorus, and Fluttermane. So right off the bat, we can see that Angel's playing a little bit with this Sun, Trick Room style team, which is interesting just because Fluttermane is usually so fast. So is this a hard Trick Room team? I don't think so, but we will see what is in store. Oscar's side, we've got a little bit more of a standard comp with that Intimidate Choice Band Hisuian Arcanine that normally blows things up, but has definitely shown to be sometimes a little bit underwhelming in its damage, but we will see if that is the case here. We've got the Ogerpon Wellspring, a little bit more defensive, Fluttermane, Booster, Raging Bolt, which is just such a common Pokemon, so let's get right into it. We've got that Urshifu and Landorus on the side of Oscar against that Ogerpon and Farigiraf on Angel's side. So right away we know that we can't get any of those priority moves, which is really just going to be that Sucker Punch coming out from Urshifu. However, it's unlikely that the side of Angel is going to move that much faster. So, on his turn, I would say the lead doesn't look super great for Angel, but we do see a Terrascalization coming out on that side into the Farigiraf, into that Terra Fairy. That's going to help it defend much better from any Psychic or Dark type attacks that might be coming its way, but it will make it a lot weaker to the Poison type attacks. Although it is going to be defended by that Ogerpon, which is going to probably get hit by a Sled Bomb and saved. That is the thing about this Landorus. It's really good in this meta right now, I'd say, because of its ability to cover both of those electric types and those poison types, or those fairy types, in addition to the grass types. But Farigiraf takes that Wicked Blow like a champ and sets up Trick Room. Alright, so let's see who comes in next. It's going to be Torkoal the Thunderstruck. That's a pretty good name. Torkoal's going to come out with that Drought. Now, it is important to know that this is an offensive Farigiraf. It's got that Throat Spray Hyper Voice Psychic Noise set. So this Torkoal also is an offensive set. It's got Eruption, Weather Ball, but it's also got that Helping Hand. So we'll see if we're going to see that spread damage, or if we're going to see that more reversed, the opposite spread damage, whatever that is. Farigiraf does also need to use that Throat Spray with either a Hyper Voice or Psychic Noise to activate that +1, but Urshifu decides it does not like the looks of this and decides to get on out there. And in comes the Water Ogerpon on Oscar's side. That'll be great to take up any eruptions that might come. I said it was going to be a good to take that, and then it just get burst down immediately. This Torkoal holding that charcoal item is really buff. Alright, and that Hyper Voice comes out from the Farigiraf, which is able to activate that Throat Spray and take off that last bit of HP on the Ogerpon. So now we've got a +1 Farigiraf, and a very angry Torkoal that's still at full health, and has taken out these two big pieces of Oscar's team. So you got this, the Fluttermane is coming in now, but depending on if it's a speed or a special attack booster, it's a special attack booster. Alright, so that's probably better than the speed, even though it really wouldn't matter that much anyways, but it does mean that if the Fluttermane is able to survive, it will be able to get off some big attacks. We see Oscar hovering that Thunder Wave, which at this point would really just be so that it can just not get totally beaten. Urshifu holds on though with that focus sash, and crucially, because of that armor tail, Urshifu can't get off a single. Urshifu is unable to get off the priority move that might have let it get any damage and reduce the attack of that Torkoal. Ferrograph is now paralyzed, but Oscar sees the writing on the wall, is just like, that's not happening. And Angel, with a very, very clean 3 Pokemon win. The consensus I have decided that among me and also myself is that this Sun team looks pretty tough. However, because of Raging Bolt and Hisui and Arcanine, Oscar's got some pieces that could really take advantage of that Sun, so let's see if Oscar decides to pivot to those. Clearly, Urshifu is pretty hard-walled by that Ferrograph. If you can get the Ferrograph off the field, obviously it's way better, but that Ferrograph does not want to leave said field. And we'll see also if Angel decides to switch it up or stick with those 3 that we saw and then the one that we did not see. Clearly the Sun team this whole team is built around that Sun damage, and it has so much burst damage that it's hard to counter it if that Trick Room gets up. So priority for Oscar should probably be making sure that Ferrograph cannot get Trick Room up, but of course if you hyper-focus into that, you might miss the rest of the damage being done. So we are leading off with this, again, special attack booster Flutter Mane, which should still outspeed most, if not all, of Angel's team. So Arcanine is also out here, which it can't go for that extreme speed, obviously, but is it going to go for something that can do any like significant damage? Is it going to try and protect? What can this Arcanine do in the face of this Landorus with that 4 times effective round of moves? And is Flutter Mane going to go for that taunt, which could be so important to stopping that Ferrograph from getting up Trick Room, or is that a bait, and is Trick Room is Angel going to avoid that Trick Room? We'll have to see how this turn plays out, as the Landorus goes for Protect, not wanting any of that noise, that psychic noise. The Ferrograph also going for the Protect. I guess trying to bait out to see if Oscar was going to commit to anything really firmly, maybe switch something out, but instead Arcanine or Oscar goes for that Rock Slide taunt, and that can just happen again turn 2. Nothing's really been stalled out, no weather, no nothing. So really we just have this reset of turn 1, except that both Protects have been burned. The wheels, we could see that Oscar is going for that Terra Grass into the Arcanine. Likely to survive something like a ground-type move such as the Earth Power or the Sand Tear Storm. Nope, sorry, this one only has Earth Power and Sludge Bomb. So if it goes for that Earth Power, it will be safe. It goes for the Sludge Bomb, and it went for the Earth Power. Really great defensive Terra on the Arcanine. Let's see if it turns off. The Dark Slide double connects. The taunt did go down into Ferrograph, and it went for Trick Room and cannot anymore. This is a really good turn for Oscar because it's able to stop a lot of the setup, and now Arcanine can dip while and let something else come in. While Angel does kind of have to commit to whether he wants to stop that, to double target or to target into that Arcanine again, this time with a poison move, or to do something else. We'll see how this turn plays out. Now that this Ferrograph has been taunted, it can no longer protect it, it can no longer Trick Room, so it's gonna go for something offensive, or it's going to switch out. Landorus is gonna protect again, probably wary of whatever nonsense Flutter Mane was about to go for, which is that Icy Wind, which would be 4 times effective, and would probably honestly take out that Landorus with that 4 times effective miss. Alright, so Fergraf goes for that Hyper Voice just to get that Third Ray activated, and does a little bit of damage into that Raging Bolt, but it is Assault Vest, and it is not gonna take that much. And obviously Fluttermane is a Ghost type, is unaffected by that Hyper Voice. But now Fergraf is online, got that +1. Although the Psychic Noise, which is taking the place of the more common Psychic, is a little bit weaker than the Psychic. So we'll see if that trade-off is worth it for an Angel. As we see this big, bulky, 4-attack Assault Vest Raging Bolt, and go for an attack, as it does. So that so the Fergraf dips, replaced by a Raging Bolt of Angel's own, and the Icy Wind comes out and knocks out that Landorus and drops that Raging Bolt's speed, which can be in Angel's favor if Angel's able to get up that Trick Room. Raging Bolt goes for a follow-up Dragon Pulse, which the Raging Bolt takes like a champ because it is Assault Vest, it is Raging Bolt, and it does never die. Whirlpool now comes out, setting up that sun for everybody on the field. So, both Raging Bolts will get some boost, special attack on Oscar's side, and most likely, yep, that special attack on Angel's side. Fluttermane, having already used its booster energy, is not getting a boost, but Fluttermane is still at full HP, and there's no Trick Room set up. This Fluttermane, being booster energy, has the ability to switch moves. So, we are going to see what happens. Is this Raging Bolt going to Terra? It likely has to. This Raging Bolt, however, is Terra Electric, so will not be immune to a Dragon Pulse. Alright, as the time ticks down, Oscar locks in his moves, and Angel goes for that Terrestrialization, most likely, yep, on that Raging Bolt, going into a Terra Electric, which is normally really good for boosting those electric type moves, but in this case, we'll see if it is able to get a move off. Likely a Thunderclap. Yep, Thunderclap comes out, it goes into the Fluttermane. Fluttermane is able to take that and respond with a Moonblast, and with that special attack boost, Raging Bolt goes down. Alright, and now it is time for the Raging Bolt on Oscar's side. And it goes for a Thunderbolt, which is really great to reduce the attack power. Oh! I was gonna say reduce the attack power of that Eruption, but it almost just knocks out the Torkoal entirely. Angel's now down to his last two Pokemon. That's gonna be that Farigiraf and that low HP Torkoal, who went for that Weather Ball, but didn't really get much purchase out of it. So this should be pretty well wrapped up. For neither Farigiraf nor Torkoal can move before the Fluttermane and the Raging Bolt. And yep, Angel sees that writing on the ball and wraps that up. So we are now at a 1-1 going into Game 3 of Round 4. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know how many times I've said writing on the wall. I would ideally like to say it no more times, but I cannot promise anything. Alright, and as we go into this final game, let's see if anybody has any adaptations. Clearly this Urshifu wasn't a great bring Game 1, so Oscar left it behind because of that Farigiraf. So we'll see if Angel wants to stick with that Farigiraf or change it up. The Farigiraf is really scary when it gets up Trick Room, but given the tools that Oscar has to deny Trick Room, does Angel have the ability to switch it up? And if so, can Oscar adapt to that in time? Oscar's considering switching up the lead, but we're not going to say anything until we get into the match, and into which we have become. Alright. We are kicking off the final game of Round 4, with once more returning to that Game 1 lead of Farigiraf and Overpon against that Flutter Mane and Arcanine, and this is a really good position for Angel if he's able to survive what's coming, because Flutter Mane would like to use Taunt, but with a Follow Me, Ogerpon can redirect that Taunt entirely. And if your Ogerpon is able to redirect that Taunt, then Farigiraf is able to get up that Trick Room. So the only real option is to be able to burst down the Ogerpon before it's able to redirect the Taunt. Oh, but Flutter Mane obviously is faster than that Ogerpon. So Ogerpon is now taunted. Rock Slide comes out and it misses the Farigiraf. Oh, exactly who you don't want to see. It's able to take out that Ogerpon, but now Angel's still able to get that Trick Room up, and now, oh, it's gonna be a bad time, folks. Given this situation, we can expect to see the Torkoal come up. I did not tell a truth. That is going to be the Raging Bolt coming in. So, with this Raging Bolt coming in, likely, we saw earlier that the Thunderclap couldn't take out the Flutter Mane, but a Thunderclap paired with a Psychic Noise might be able to. Given that, it might be a good move for Oscar to switch out, or maybe Oscar thinks that the Flutter Mane can take it and will stay in. On the other hand, Arcanine, I mean, doesn't have awesome moves to go for, but doesn't have bad moves to go for, right? All these things is pretty neutral. It goes for the Grass. Interesting. Obviously can't use that extreme speed because of the Farigiraf Armor Tail preventing priority hit. But the Psychic Noise comes out. Oh, and the Flutter Mane doesn't take that much. Prone from healing, which isn't the big issue. The real thing is that Farigiraf is able to activate that Throat Spray. Next is going to be the Raging Bolt going for the Draco Meteor. Okay. What connects, but also connecting is the Flutter Mane, is the Rock Slide, and then the Moon Blast. So that's Raging Bolt down. Flutter Mane lightly tripped. I'm surprised that Angel didn't target down the Flutter Mane, but maybe thought that you could take out the Arcanine. Alright, so now Flutter Mane is out. This Torkoal is extremely scary. Because this Torkoal can just go for Eruption, and destroy everything on the team. So we see Arcanine switching out first and going into that Landorus, which does technically resist hits from Torkoal. And then you see the Raging Bolt with that Assault Vest, still at full health, and we'll see how able it is to tank these attacks from the top likely now Terrifier Torkoal. Yeah, so Terrifier boosted, Sun boosted, Charcoal boosted, full HP Eruption. Not going to be the greatest time for any Pokemon on Oscar's side. And we'll see the Eruption come out, and yeah, that's a one-hit KO on that Landorus. Hate to see it. But I think it's a good call because Landorus is probably not the best Pokemon to take these hits. An issue though is that Landorus is the only Pokemon who has a Protect, so to stall out any of these Trick Room or these Trick Room or these Sun turns. More like obviously you have to stall the Sun first or the Trick Room first. But is it possible to do that, given the Arcanine has terrestrialized into this fire weakness, and this Raging Bolt is very low? The only real, I think that if Raging Bolt is able to get off an attack into that Torkoal, there might be a chance, but I do not believe it is slower than that Farigiraf. Yeah, so Raging Bolt holds on with 2 HP. It's so close, but I'm not feeling good about this one, folks. Let's see, yep, Furgraph comes out with that psychic noise, and it's 2 HP, but 2 HP is... It only needs to do 2 HP. It's not a very strong attack, but that's enough to take out that Raging Bolt. And Flutter Mane comes in. I think there's... How many turns of Trick Room are up? I believe there is at least 1 more turn of Trick Room, and that's unfortunately all Angel needs to be able to clean up this last Pokemon. Covering them. Ice Wind, Moonblast, goes hovering a Thunder Wave. And Torkoal goes for that Eruption. And that is going to be another clean sweep for Angel with a 3 Pokemon to lead. And up 2-1. Angel wins round 4, but a really well-fought game by both players. That hard Trick Room is really tricky to get up. The pun was only slightly intended, but that's an interesting thing about hard Trick Room. If you don't have good answers, if you don't have a good way to stop it, especially when it's paired with that Farigiraf who can prevent any priority moves from Prankster or other priority attacks that we saw a lot of on Oscar's side. It's pretty hard to get that Pokemon in, and then if you're able to get Torkoal in next to that Farigiraf, again, you can just start clicking Eruption. There are definitely ways to get around this, but that sacrificing that Overpawn turn 1 every time just to make sure that Oscar wasn't able to take down that Farigiraf before it was able to Trick Room was a huge key to his success. Still, some great matches from both players, and we've got one more for you right after this, so don't go anywhere. Unless you need to go, like, get some food or get some water, you can go do that, but then after that, don't go anywhere, and come back here for some more Pokemon action. Catch you later.